started.
C4-10. Let's start off with D4. It's one move they can't play C4 against as easily. I guess they could. You take it, and maybe it's a interesting gambit, or queen check and get it back. Okay, D4, D5, C4. I'm going for the queen's gambit. Okay, we got a Slav defense. I go with this knight move to stop E5. He goes with that knight move. Then I go with the pawn push to protect the pawn on C4. Not the most aggressive way to play, but still leads to interesting stuff. If you move the knight out first, then he can take here and try and hold on to it, and you get into the note boom variation, possibly. Okay, he's going after the knight. If he takes it, that's okay. I mean, it doubles my pawns, but I get a bishop. I win the bishop pair. So I'm just going to castle here. The question is, do I need to defend the knight? If I castle, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, or bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Is it trapped there? Not really. So I should defend it, I guess. Sometimes you can give up a pawn over there and it's not
Check.
Such a big deal. But in this case I didn't feel like it was warranted. Okay, so I got the position I wanted. He just retreated with his knight. It's odd. In this position, he could have played f5 there and kept the knight. Okay, but he played this way, castle, castle. I don't especially want to push the pawn right here, because if I do, I'll just take, I take, he takes, I take. Let's start by exchanging the c-pawn then. Give myself a little something. Okay, so he took that way. It gives me a diagonal for my bishop, I guess. And a file for my rook. So I've got a lot of development here. If you look at this, he's only developed one piece, because the knight went out and back. But he kind of stopped my plan of pushing e4. And maybe he's okay. It's a slow enough developing position. He's not going to be in any trouble. I could pin the knight, maybe. That might be interesting for later, knight e5. It's possible there's something to that. Yeah, so if he plays this way, is he going to, yeah, I guess he's going to get in a quick b5 there. That's a little bit annoying. So if I go here and he plays b5, the bishop doesn't have any good square. So actually I'm just going to go back here. Okay, maybe that wasn't a very successful venture. Yeah, that b5. And now I want to play a4 here, and the bishop's in the way. I can play my bishop. This is kind of a funny move. I can play my bishop here to d6 and route it back to the king side this way. Sometimes happens when the knight goes to d7, blocking the queen there. So now a5 here. If he takes, I can take back, and he's got an isolated pawn. If he pushes, I can take it. If he does nothing, I can take it and win something here, right? So I need to take advantage of his weaknesses he's created with these advanced pawns. And at the same time, I have to watch out that I don't lose this bishop to some tempo move. So if the knight can move with tempo, it also hits the bishop here. Yeah, that's an interesting way to play it. Now, if I take back immediately with the bishop, he can pin. Oh, but that's not a pin because my rook is defended. So I can just win a pawn. Not that this is the world's greatest pawn, but it is. I did win a pawn anyway. So it's something. Yeah, so we moved this knight with tempo, which is interesting. So where do I want to go with this bishop? Maybe all the way back to g3. And if he takes it, it is going to open up the h-file, but he hasn't got his pieces set up for an attack. Yeah, so he didn't go that way. Now, can I defend this? Let's try. Let's try and defend this for a bit. I don't want to just give it back, having carefully won it. Okay, so we went for the bishop, and now neither side has the bishop pair. But well, I have an extra pawn, so I should be a little bit better. And I need to dissolve this weakness, so I'm going to play c5 if I can get away with it. c4 rather. c4, pawn takes, knight takes, queen takes, rook takes. Yeah, I can't get away with it right here. But he's not quick enough. Okay, so if I take the rook, he takes back. I play c4, he takes, knight takes, and then he pins it with his rook. That's his plan, right? And then, well, it's still not a pin because the knight can move to a square like a3, defending the queen. So rook takes, pawn to c4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, and rook to c8, trying to pin the knight, and knight to a3, defending the queen. Queen takes, knight takes, and yeah, I'm just a clear pawn up, and we're into a king and knight, knight and pawn endgame. They don't count the kings in the endgame. There's always a king. And of course, if he takes the rook first, oh, he took there first. That's interesting. So this way I don't have to suffer a pin. Although, let's see, I have to take with the rook here. This could be a bit of trouble. Oh no, he's got a back rank problem. He can check me, but he has to worry about his back rank. Okay, so he solved that problem. So let's go. Let's go towards the center with the king. Go towards my passed pawn. I was wondering, I mean, the other option was just retreating the rook to c1 here and defending. But the rook is well placed there, so if I can just come forward here. Now I want to stay a bit flexible here. I might need to run to the king side here to stop. He has a potential passed pawn on the h-file. I do have to worry about that a bit. If he checks me, I'm going to block with the rook. I was thinking at first I could run here. Yeah. Now I can't block with the rook so well. Let's kick the knight. Not let it stay there. He's got to check here. Ah! He's got to check that wins a pawn. Well, that's annoying. Okay, so after the check, where can I go? I really only have one square, and then he takes this pawn with check even. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm guarding the square. That's why this worked. Okay, I I didn't think I was losing there, but I forgot. Okay, so knight to f4 is what I was worried about, but I have pawn takes knight. The other check is over here. Check with the rook is guarded by the knight at the moment, so yeah, so he just has to go back. And let's chase the rook away. I don't like this pressure along the the seventh rank here, second rank, I guess, in this case. Pressure against my poor knight, my poor pawn here on g2 is annoying. So now, let's see. I want to get in the move d5 there. So let's maneuver my knight around. And notice how my pawns are restricting his knight. So my idea is to go knight here. He pushes his e-pawn forward. I can still play d5. Okay, he's going after this weakness. That's an interesting move. Okay, so if I ignore that and push, he takes... I take. I guess I don't want to give that pawn up just yet. Let's hold on to it. Let's hold on to that pawn a moment longer. Okay, he's going to try and invade with his rook. And he can come to this square here. Let's see. If I kick the knight immediately, and he attacks my knight. I take his knight, he takes my knight. Takes the pawn. And he's got doubled pawns over here, and I have an extra pawn over here. That's possibly a way to play. I'm going to try pushing on with the pawn. If he attacks my knight, I'm going to defend it with the rook. Looks like an odd setup, but I do get a passed pawn here. And I want my king to more or less be free to help this pawn promote. Okay, so now he's got a check here.
Check.
And then I can go here.
Check.
Oh, I messed that up. I totally messed that up. Yeah, he was coordinating on this square. Okay, so easy it is to turn a win into a draw or even a loss if you're not careful, right? So I only have one move. That's too bad.
Check.
Okay, let's see. It can't come forward or sideways, so this is the only move. Let's see. Has he got any other weaknesses I can take advantage of? Let's see. I can go here, but then he just checks me again. And I can't block it. Okay. Well, this will be interesting to look at in the post-mortem, see how I could have played that better. Should have been a winning endgame with this much force. Sometimes with just rooks, it's not winning. But when you've got the rook and the knight, of course, as long as there's knights in an endgame, it's always tricky. Okay, so now my king is guarding all these pawns. I can activate my pieces a bit. There's a check here. And what else is there? He's got a check here. Which also attacks this pawn, which is weak again. And I can't go here. So I need to defend the g3 pawn.
Check.
And I didn't see any easy way of doing it. He's got a rook check coming. Now I'm attacking the knight. He has no time. No time for the rook check. Okay, so now I need to defend my king somehow. Yeah, so he's threatening to check, drive my king back, and take the pawn here. I guess I can check.
Check.
And my idea is to get to this file so I can block the check with my rook. So now I have rook to
Check.
rook to d3 to block the check. He had a better move there, I think. Yeah, going all the way back. How do I defend things now? I guess I drop here. Okay, the king defends the knight defends the pawn. Well, the rook's defending the pawn too.
Check.
He gets that pawn, huh? Let's see. I could block with the knight. Knight takes,
Check.
rook takes. That doesn't work, I thought. Oh, he does. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Well, I guess that's why you keep playing in some of these positions. He's got a passed pawn. Okay, where do I want to go? I guess I want to come somewhere out here where I've got some checking distance. Okay, let's check from behind. Check. He's got an attack on this guy. King can come here. Okay, I've got a little bit of time. Let's see. So if king up to defend this pawn, and he checks, I can block with the rook. But I'm in danger of losing the pawn over here. But I want to be able to check his king from behind. Maybe I block with the knight.
Check.
So that if he sacrifices his rook over here and tries to get a passed pawn, at least I've got something. He has a check.
Check.
Right there. Yeah, oh, that's annoying.
Check. Check.
Okay, so he's blocked up. Let's see, let's bring the knight around. Guarding sub-squares. I'm going to grab this pawn if I can. And use the rook from behind to harass these pawns.
Check. check,
Okay, I can go forward. He's going to check here.
check,
I'm going to accept the draw here. I'll look
Check.
at this later to see if there's a win. Maybe there is.
check.
Game
Draw,
offered.
drawn.
Okay, yeah, I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.